Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Torch Sales. One more episode where I have another guest, because you guys keep asking. Not really, but I'm just going to keep doing it regardless. And here I am in Hawaii once again for another interview, and I have the beautiful Diane Calhoun. Did I pronounce that right? Because I know I butchered it.
No, that's all right. That's much better than most people.
All right. Well, again, I'm learning, so it's all good. Now, Diane, as I've mentioned before, this whole thing is about just talking to people in the industry, the welding industry that is, and their journey on how they got here. Whether you are a rep, sales, manufacturer, distributor, buying group, you name it. And Diane is the executive director for AIWD, correct?
Actually, I'm the director of operations.
Okay.
And special events, which is why we're kind of here, talking about this place maybe next time for us, right?
Oh, hey.
Okay.
Ching ching. So thank you for teaching me the title, because I get that wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Now, Diane, as I mentioned before, I want to go back before we get to talk about what AIWD and how it has developed to what it is nowadays.
Okay.
Now, Diane, and I know a little bit about you, but enough just to get in trouble. That means that I don't know much about you, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's go back. Diane, the little girl, where is Diane from?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, and that was born and raised there, or?
Born and raised there. I was there until I got married, which was at 25.
Okay.
From there, I went to Lafayette, Louisiana for less than a year, and from there, then I was off to California.
Really?
For 7 years.
For 7 years?
For 7 years. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Fullerton.
So tell me a little bit about that, the difference for where you were growing up and then you go to California. I mean, did you like California?
If you think about it, it's vastly different. And they didn't quite know what to do with someone like me.
All right, hold on. Someone like you. What does that mean?
I probably at the time I had a much thicker Southern accent.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Very, very, very friendly, and so they had a little bit at the time of the same kind of hesitancy as people maybe from the Northeast tend to be a little bit more guarded when they meet you.
Yeah.
And so they thought my friendliness and my outgoingness was fake. So
I see.
Yeah, so it took me a while to make friends.
Okay.
But once I did, I was there. I'm telling everyone my age now, but that's okay. I was there during the 80s.
I didn't ask, so I'm glad.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah.
But the 80s was so much fun to be in Los Angeles.
I can imagine.
It really was. People were much friendlier there. It was so diverse.
Correct.
And nobody cared. I mean, that's what made it colorful. That's what made it wonderful.
That is so true.
And
yeah.
right.
I mean, nowadays, different stories, right? But that's another show. That's another show.
Absolutely.
Now, so California, you were there, you said, for 7 years?
For 7 years.
And the reason why then you left California, if it was so cool, so awesome back in that era, how come you left California?
That's because actually I was married to someone else at the time. We broke up.
Okay.
And I came back down.
Got it.
But then I resettled in.
Back down home?
Only as a stepping stone to get to where I really wanted to be, which was Houston, Texas. And that's where I ended up landing. And I was there for, I want to say, probably most of my life, because most of my children, whom you know,
we're going to get to that.
Those, were born there.
In Houston, in Texas.
Houston. That's correct.
Now, you said you're in your mid-20s when you moved to California.
That's right.
What were you doing for work back then? Were you working? Were you, what? Because I know a little bit of what you've done, but again, who am I? You guys got to hear this.
Okay. When I first went there, I was fortunate enough, this little Southern girl, to get a job with Vidal Sassoon.
Okay, that's the
salon guy.
Yeah.
In the Century Towers. And so I worked for that corporation for his vice president for a couple of years.
Doing what?
I was his executive assistant.
Okay.
What was interesting about that is the building inside the office building for corporate was all mirrors. I mean, mirrors everywhere.
Really? That's very Liberace kind of.
I'm telling you, it was very intimidating.
Can hide.
There was no way that you could get off the elevator and not see yourself from the moment you walked in the office, down the halls.
Now, do you think? And I'm sorry, guys. You know that I interrupt my guests all the time because they, Do you think that they had all these mirrors just because they wanted people to see themselves right away? I'm like,
absolutely.
You got to look good if you're going to come.
That's why.
Gotcha.
It is a constant acknowledgement of how you were presenting yourself to the world because it was the beauty business.
I agree.
All right?
Yeah.
So that's what I did there. But then I had my first child.
Okay.
Took some time off, and I had made some friends that everybody out there, if you're not working for the beauty industry, you're in the entertainment business. You're in music, you're in movies.
Correct.
You know,
it's
in
California.
Some form of it.
Yep.
And a friend of mine was working on a film and said, hey, I know that they're looking for some extras, okay, for this film. And if you want something to do, because I wasn't working, I was a stay-at-home mother, come on and...
So have you always been a blonde?
Yes.
All right, so you almost kind of fit the California look.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I did. That was back in the days of Mike Hammer was an actual TV series for some of you that are close to my age, which is just that detective series with the beautiful blondes and the ditzy secretaries and that sort of thing. Believe it or not, I got to be in the Mike Hammer series several times, and I don't know if that was a compliment or not.
Okay, hey. Tomatoes, right?
Yeah, but I got to do a lot of other movies, and some of those actually did land some speaking roles. And
really?
Yes, and worked with some fantastic people.
Now, how was the pay for someone like that back in the 80s, mid 80s, early 90s, or whatever? Like, it was really about the money?
Oh,
back then?
No. There were people that would work for free.
Really?
You know, literally work for free just to
find that recognition or kind of get themselves in.
That's right. Because once you start working, if you really have aspirations to do something bigger and greater, which I didn't.
In anything.
Okay. That's true. They wanted to know, do you have film? Do you have film? And what they want is they want you to send them a demo. And it's a bunch of clips of you in these different roles that you play. Okay?
I see.
So, although I didn't want it as a career or think that I could ever go there, my life was different. I had a child, and I just didn't want to do that. But I wanted to, make some money, have a little fun with it. So I did have a demo. I got some work, and I got some stage work.
Okay.
And I got modeling work, and so I was involved.
So you are doing the whole California bracket.
I was. It was actually full-time work, doing all different kinds of things.
Got it.
Actually took some gigs at big conventions with the car shows that turn around.
And so you're the one kind of like, here's the car.
Hey,
and
it paid well. Exactly. It paid.
That's funny.
It was really funny. But I did have some serious work, what I call legitimate work.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that a lot.
That's awesome.
Pay was terrible, to answer your question, unless you were a member of the unions.
I see. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because there was union based.
So there's a SAG, and that is the union for the film, and industry, AFTRA was the industry for video.
Okay.
So people would strive. All they wanted to do is get the SAG union acknowledgement, because all of a sudden your pay went from $35 a day. No, I'm not kidding you. $35 a day back in the 80s to $700 a day.
Just by being part of SAG.
And doing the same work.
Wow, is that crazy or what? Now, the first son or daughter? Daughter. And what's her name?
Ashley.
And she was born in California?
She was.
So she's the only one that was born in California?
That's correct. She was born at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Which is very famous, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So now how long did you do the whole Hollywood, California thing?
7 years.
Alrighty. So 7 years now, you kind of...
Wait a minute, back it up. I had to take time Vidal, maternity leave. Sorry, 5 years.
All right. Hey.
Okay.
So now that you find yourself doing that for 5 years, 6, whatever that was, and you have a child, a daughter, and you got to move back home to use as a stepping stone for the next chapter, which is Houston. How was that easy to leave that industry, or things were not kind of happening as fast as you would wish in that industry, and therefore like it was easier to leave and go find?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And the answer is it was not hard for me to leave it all, because it is, even though it can be fun, I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very few people actually earn a living at it. Every waiter working in a restaurant is a wannabe.
Aspire, yeah.
Absolutely, it's very tough. I valued being a mother more. I didn't want my daughter to be raised in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I wanted her to be in a neighborhood.
A normal, so what normal?
Absolutely. So I knew that what I could do is I could leave there, and I had a lot of other talents.
Gotcha.
Other than that. So I knew that I could work steady and still continue to have a hand in it in other ways.
Gotcha.
And that is what I eventually segued into.
In Houston.
In Houston.
Which is and was?
You mean the work that I was doing?
Yeah. So you segued.
Production.
Yeah.
I was a producer. I was a writer.
Huh.
I did that for years and years and years. And it was really so much more fun for me
And
to be behind
this was
the
all
camera.
based out of Houston. Now you got this kind of work in Houston,
Right.
producing different things.
Right.
Huh, that's pretty cool. And how long did you do that?
I actually did that until I got the job within our industry, because it is kind of a remote thing.
All right.
So, yeah.
So we're almost getting there. Slowly we're getting to, until you almost got into the industry. How did you get into the industry? And by then, first, did you already have other kids already by then?
Oh yeah, by that time I'd had 4 more. So I have a total of 5.
So let's go through all the names because they are in the industry.
Yeah.
So Ashley.
Ashley's the oldest.
Kelly.
Correct.
Not Troy. Caitlin. PJ.
That's
all right. Caitlin and Troy. Trey.
Boy, you're good though.
I'm
impressed.
Me too. I have no clue where I pulled that from,
That's
but
right.
it's all good. So now you are 5 kids in, working mom and everything else, and that's kind of when you start getting into the industry. How did that come about?
Well, I had an old resume floating around
In
the
cyberspace,
web,
right?
I mean,
in the clouds.
It really is remarkable that someone found this old resume and was still interested in talking to me.
Right.
Okay. But they called me, and it was a headhunter.
Okay.
From in the Pacific Northwest of all places.
Wow. See, I guess they do come in handy, the headhunters still, right?
They really, really did. She called. She said, "I've been looking at your resume, and I think you just might be perfect for this job." And when she first told me it was in the welding industry,
you're like, huh?
I went, okay. Well, it's like anything else, guys. You know, if you're in sales and you're good at it, you can take those sales skills.
That is true. The product doesn't matter anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just transfer it to whatever.
You're right.
So it's like, okay, I can learn that. You know, along the line, I had written and produced infomercials. I'd worked for casinos. I'd been public relations director. I'd been a DJ.
DJ?
I absolutely.
Wait a minute.
We walk on. But the point is, it's just so many of those things, and it's hard to put it on a resume, and it's hard to say work experience because it looked like I was sort of bouncing around, and I didn't want to focus too much on the entertainment part. I wanted to focus on the fact that I could do more of the really what I felt were the cooler things, which was behind the camera and making it all happen.
Gotcha.
That is leading up to your question about how I came into this.
Yeah, exactly. And when you said someone reached out and said, hey, I got something that I think you might be a fit in the welding industry, What was that exactly? Was it the buying group now that you are part of?
It was, yes.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Was it always called the same things? Nothing has changed since then?
The name has always been the same, and I can promote that.
Of course,
can I not?
it's the AIWD.
That's right.
Right, which stands for?
Association of Independent Welding Distributors.
There you go. And we'll get to explain a little bit more what that is exactly, and the wonderful people that work for and support the industry and the buying group itself, us included, or me, the company that I work for. I cannot let the DJ part go. Give me a second here.
Okay.
How long were you? Because I was a DJ. That's why you struck a chord.
Okay.
So you were a DJ where? Like doing mitzvahs, birthdays, and at a club and.
I think I probably did some roller rinks and things like that.
Really?
But this was back in the. It was a long time ago. I want to say it was before I went to California.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're talking about, but it was during a really, really cool era. It was during the disco era.
Gotcha. So you had the LPs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
She just scored a few more points in my book. I knew I liked you, now I like you even more.
You know what's funny is it ended up that I was the first female DJ, at least in the entire state of Louisiana. They'd never had one before. And so, and I came in during that boom of, the disco era. And what great music that had. Oh my God.
I mean,
so, and I had followers, I had.
That's awesome.
It was back in the day.
She had groupies. That's pretty much what she's saying. She
had
groupies. They would call in
and say, "Hey, babe, would you play this song for me?" Okay, and here it comes, and you'd spin it. And get the next one ready, and it was a lot of fun.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
all right, I needed to touch on that again. Anyway, so now let's go forward again. Now you said yes to AIWD, and going through a headhunter, you are on a trial period, or they hire you as a straight, direct person right away, or was there like, all right, we'll see, and then if not, we'll find somebody else?
Okay, so the AIWD had begun in about 1999. They'd had one executive director since they started.
Okay.
So this was 2013 when I got this phone call.
Okay.
The only executive director they had ever had was leaving, and they didn't quite know what to do with the group because he had been in charge of everything.
Leaving because of age or something else came up, or?
He was just ready to retire.
Okay,
he was a former business owner. Then founder, former
So he was the one that co-founder of AIWD.
Okay. Exactly. So they needed a replacement. Up until that time, every city that they had gone to, my understanding was they were getting... they have annual shows, and they would have a different group of people every year or so.
So it was
show.
hard to get any kind of consistency
or
value.
Yeah. Exactly. So they said, since you're leaving, we're going to look for someone. We do need to replace you as executive director, but we need to find someone else that can handle our shows because they were becoming so important to our group.
Of course, and as we all know now. Yep.
So that's what I was hired for, and I ended up being hired. That's when we just had the 3 board members.
Okay.
But one of the things that they said was so intriguing about my resume, which the headhunter brought to their attention, was my past entertainment experience.
Really?
Because they wanted someone who not only could put on a show, because I had, over the years, I'd had other conventions and things like that. I'd produced a little bit of everything, but they said
it was the version of social media back then.
Right, and they said she can actually, looks like she can bring an element of a creativity to our show.
Got it.
So we'll stand out, be a little bit different. And I think that was kind of what they were interested in at the time, and so they flew me out to Atlanta. I met them, and then they ran to the airport and found me before I got on the plane and said, we want you to, we don't forget about everybody, we want you to work for us. And it was an offer I couldn't refuse because they were so eager to hire me.
That's awesome. And so how many members, if you remember, were part of AIWD 2013, give or take?
Okay. I think probably...
We're not going to be exact. We might be off. If anybody else there knows,
we'll
chill.
definitely be...
Yeah.
Definitely be off. I want to say around that time it was probably about 130.
Okay.
And of course, as you mentioned, they come and go because
of course, that's
distributors,
correct.
Right.
They get bought out, they just close shop. I mean, it's
sell, ready to retire,
Life.
whatever. Right. Since then, we've lost a lot, but we've gained some, and right now we're probably around 140.
Gotcha.
However, we have almost 400 store locations that now fall under us. So that has grown tremendously.
So the business owners themselves have grown.
Yes.
Therefore, you have that many locations. Let's say that way.
And
between
new
all
members
of them.
coming in that may have 20 stores across
Correct,
the U.S. or 30 or something like that. So that has been new for us.
Awesome. That's good. I mean, I'm part of it, and I can see and I have seen the growth in my short. I mean, I'm 12 years in with the industry, being really involved with AIWD for the last 5, 7, something like that. So I can vouch for the growth definitely, and it's an amazing group. But again, it's not for me to say. 2013, 2014, first show you ever do, and where was that? And was that like, oh, this feels, yeah, I can do this. This is easy.
Oh yeah, I was nervous as heck because the outgoing ED really did not give me a whole lot of information.
Right, not much to work from.
There were no records,
no planograms. Yeah.
Previous shows, I had no idea, so I was pretty nervous showing up, not knowing what to expect, and really, our particular show is so robust. There's a lot of interaction between the members and the vendors for 3 days with constant meetings and the trade show. There really isn't practically no room to breathe, but I mean, it's a really good use of your time.
Correct. That's
to be there. And
did you guys notice how that plug just kind of easily just went in there?
Yeah. That's okay.
Hey, we have an expert here.
I do. So anyway, I get there, and I wasn't. When I saw how everything was coming together, it just flowed, and I went, okay, I'm right. So, even though they had a lot of confidence in me on the front end, they had no idea whether or not I was going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah.
Of
course, and I get it. I would too.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is completely new for everybody. But after the first show, we all agreed that this was a really good match.
And at this time, the first few years, you're still kind of flying solo as you. You haven't brought any of your inner help and the circle of support that you have created throughout the years, right?
My first year, I had one.
One of your...
one of 5. Which was my daughter, PJ.
Okay.
Which they said you can bring in your own staff, hire, we don't care, just someone that you trust.
Correct.
And I happen to know that she had a tremendous amount of administrative skills.
Yeah, because you kind of knew PJ.
She's kind of knew her since she was my daughter.
Yeah.
But she agreed to, take time off of work.
Okay.
And go down there and cover my back.
Gotcha.
She did such a phenomenal job that over the years she has taken on a lot more roles within my group.
That is true. That is true. So everyone knows PJ. She's very involved, and she's a good person, good face, good human being for the industry and the buying group itself. Yes.
I think that's really, really important. You don't really look. Some people are they're very good behind the scenes.
Correct.
They don't want to be seen.
And great, and you need those as well.
That's right. And we have others that just say, just let me do my thing behind the doors. I'm fine. And so over the years, I've pulled more people in
from the pool of Diane
Calhoun. The pool of Calhoun.
Yeah. So the next sibling that comes in, who is that?
The next sibling that came in was Caitlin.
Oh, okay.
Caitlin was the next one.
Gotcha.
And then...
And the other ones are just in the background, just watching. I'm like, huh.
Well, basically what they're doing is, I will say, I'm going to give all of my kids a plug. Every one of them, first of all, have other responsible professions.
Correct, that is true.
So this is seasonal work that they do, but they also know that I am kind of hard to work for other people. But they
some of their kids might have or might have not said that to me before.
Really
I don't remember.
She's tough.
Yeah.
But they're not going to let me down.
Good.
As a child.
As a professional.
And as a professional, absolutely. And so they ended up being, I just couldn't ever find anyone that could work as well as they could. And they're all on board. So Caitlin came next, and then Kelly came on board.
Yeah.
And everybody, and then my son Trey.
Correct.
I have a brother-in-law, by the way, that runs our organization.
What's his name?
Golf, not our organization, our golf tournament.
Okay.
And he is an actor, and you can actually see him on television right now. But I'm going to let him.
So what's his name?
His name is Patrick Curtin.
Okay.
Love you, Patrick.
Which I heard that he's watched a few of the episodes.
He has.
Kelly, and it's like, oh, have you seen Frank?
He has.
Thank you. I love the support. Don't know what I'm doing, but I love it.
Oh, that's right. And his wife Susan.
Yes, correct.
Is also a celebrity of sorts, and she's got a morning show.
And she's your sister.
She is my sister. She's she actually does a lot of just wherever you need me at the show, I'm going to be there. She's gone on tours before when I needed her. Hey, somebody didn't show up. Here you go. Here's your dad. And she's fantastic. Well, she's got a morning show called Loving, Living Local.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen a couple of
Yes, and that's in Shreveport, Louisiana. So I mean, I really have amazing. And my daughter Kelly is actually an architect.
Yes.
In New Orleans.
Correct.
A historic preservationist.
Which she'll be in the show eventually, and we're going to do it in her neck of the woods.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so I put her in charge of tours because what she will do is she'll go in and she will research the history of where we are.
Yeah.
You know, how that particular host city came to be. And she's a lot more than that. She's just a wonderful representative of the group. So everybody has their specialty. My son Trey, a golfer, an entertainer, he now handled the Atlantic City golf tournament.
Nice.
And so everybody is very good, and I'm very proud of them, and I couldn't do it without them. The show has just grown over the years, and that's why I kept needing more and more people to work for us.
And where is the show next year?
Atlantic City.
So how easy is it to, because I know every show, every group, you name it, it's always fighting for city space, venue space, you got to look at dates and all these other things. How far ahead do you guys look into this, and do you find yourself, when you are fighting for all these venues, do you find yourself having to relocate because of you're going to be running into someone's that's going to be already there, or the city can hold it, or whatever?
We've not had to relocate one time.
Okay.
When I first started, they were only booking 1 year out. When I started with the group, I started booking 2 years out at least, and then 3, and then I got to the point to where I actually had the upcoming show plus 4 on the books.
Yep.
Now, people thought I was crazy going that far out.
But look at what the industry, I mean.
That's right. The upside to what we did is that locked in pricing that people can't believe that we're getting now for our rooms, for other benefits.
Yep.
Sometimes they'll throw in something like we'll even lock in our 2018 food prices when your show isn't until 2021, not realizing what we just all went through.
Correct.
With the shutdown.
Exactly.
And then the economy and the changes in the economy, which is affecting everybody else.
Of course.
So the upside to getting them on the books that far in advance is certainly financial.
Oh, for sure,
You know?
for sure. I can see it with AIWD and many other things. You know how everyone's always fighting, stuff like that, and it's the struggle, because you more than anyone knows that sometimes you go visit a place or a city and all that, and today it was great, and also, but you can't control how it's going to be 3-4 years from now.
Boy, is that true!
Right?
I think I know why you're talking about that.
Yeah, and we won't go into detail, but it's. I hope people understand when they hear this that, look, when we were there, when we saw everything or whatever, it was wonderful, it was great. and you cannot expect that things are going to be exact the same way 3, 4, 5 years out, because that's when you are planning. Things change, personnel management, blah blah blah. So sometimes you run into these problems,
right?
And it's not fair for us on this side to judge that venue, because we actually don't know how long ago it was all done, the work that it took, and of course we're just there for 3 days, and it's easier for us just to say, really, what's going on? But
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for what you do on that aspect, and that a lot of us understand that it's never going to be perfect, and you have a ratio of 99.9% greatness. So yeah,
Thanks. We have been very fortunate.
Yes, you have.
We really have.
Yeah.
But I also can say that the AIWD group is just amazing.
Yes.
I mean, the vendors, you are one of them, and we love these guys. Uniweld is a tremendous supporter
Thank you. Appreciate
of the AIWD and a primary vendor, so we love you. And they're always part of our shows where they want to help the show be better. So they're always doing things for the members, and where can we be of most service?
Correct.
And have great exposure also.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, let's face it, we are all there for a reason, and you want the exposure, but you also want to be part of something that you said that you are going to belong to. Like, might as well really participate and be a part of.
Right.
So I agree, and I thank you, because you guys do an amazing job. Now, the group itself, I know you guys have lost some of the board members and new people came in, and in this particular instance I'm referring to Kelly Horton. Kelly came in on board now, what, 2-3 years ago?
He is going to be, January will be 2 years.
Gotcha. And his title is?
He is the executive director.
Okay, so what is the difference between what you do and what he does?
That's a really good question. It definitely takes a village. Not
Correct.
One person can't do it all. And so Kelly's main focus, I should say, for the AIWD is to grow the membership.
Okay.
We had lost a few more members over the years than we had actually replaced. And it usually kind of works like that.
Got it.
Bringing new ones on. And Kelly was perfect for the job. Kelly actually used to be one of our distributors.
That is true.
A member of the group. And he became a board member.
Okay.
So he knew exactly what the executive committee
from the different angles.
Absolutely, the kind of person they were looking for and what he was going to be challenged with doing. And so there was a bit of struggle trying to find just the perfect person for that job.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of unique.
It is.
And Kelly was fortunate enough to have made a decision for himself and for the group that he would take that on.
Gotcha.
He's no longer a distributor, but he comes into our group with the distributor mentality.
Correct.
That experience, and is so strong and powerful.
It is.
And so he already knew a lot of you guys.
That is true. That is true.
And he's a great leader of the group, and
he's going to be on the show as well. Just you know that, Kelly, because you said yes already. Yeah.
And so, but he also has a unique opportunity of bringing new suppliers into the group that not to saturate it, but actually someone that has something a little bit different.
Yeah, as long as he's bringing value, and the distributors at the end of the day have a pool of diversity. I agree 100%. It just makes the group stronger, makes the industry stronger.
So that is his primary focus. Okay. He also, I will say, works with you guys on the vendor programs that you offer the members.
Yep.
He's very influential in my opinion.
He is. Kelly, in my eyes, he's done a tremendous job, and he's very accessible every time we call him or anything. I mean, he's right there.
He's right there.
And definitely, it's a nice person, just a good person. At the end of the day, that's who you want to have a relationship with, regardless of titles, positions, and whatever. So good call on the AIWD, good for Kelly, good for the group, good for everyone. Now, having been now in this group for 10 years, except for the fact that, yes, of course, every buying group wants to grow members and wants to become bigger and all that. But let's put that aside because that is common sense. Where would you like to see AIWD, the group, the industry as a whole, in the next 5-10 years?
Well, I will tell you something that I was hoping that I would be able to talk about when we sat down with this.
Of course.
Is I want to encourage more women
Okay.
to look at this industry as something that they can get into.
I agree with you 100%.
When I was first hired for the job, I really had no idea what it was all about. I thought, oh, I would be putting on a trade show for the actual welders.
Gotcha.
Okay?
I see what you mean, yeah.
They're coming in to look at new things, new opportunities, new equipment or whatever. That's not it at all, as you know.
Correct.
And everything about our lives, this industry is a part of every part of our lives and every asset. I mean, every facet of our life. So women really need to think about coming into to this because it is something that they can do and actually make a tremendous career in it, and also be home with your children. You know, you can have it all. So, but as far as where I see, let me just say for the AIWD, it's important that the small business owner out there knows that there's an organization out there such as ours that you can be a part of. That's what we were originally formed to do, was that small distributor from the small towns, from the Midwest, that really did not have major purchasing power.
Correct.
So there were some products that they wanted to provide in their store that they couldn't get anyone to sell to them because they weren't large enough.
Correct.
Or they will sell to you, but the price that you're going to pay is
you can't compete, can't stay in business,
can't compete.
Yep.
Right, and so that's how this AIWD started.
Gotcha.
So our strength is more. We have more of our members that are into hard goods.
Correct.
Okay, than the gases, but we do have many members that provide all of that.
Of course.
And so I'd like there to be more independent business owners out there that when times are tough, don't sell out.
Yeah.
Okay? Now this is what we have seen, a trend of this.
Yes.
Is they get scared, they say, I can't compete with the big dogs out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to sell and move on. And once you do, from what I've heard, you can't ever get back in. It's just not the way that it used to be.
It's very tough, and I think part of that reason is because there's no succession plan, or there's no second generation or third generation trying to help or take over their business. Because I mean, as you know, there's a lot of older first generational still running businesses nowadays, and the kids might not be into it. There's no family members. They're like exhausted, tired, done it for so long. I'm like, well, I might as well just take a big paycheck and kind of sell into the sunset, where if they had any support system, kids, family, and sometimes maybe they can just reach a agreement with employees and sell it to a group of, the employees themselves, just to keep the name and the history of their business still going. So I see both sides. I totally agree with you. I also understand when they don't see a light taking over that torch to the next level. So it's tough, but I think right now we are in a good, better place from a few years ago. I think a few more I see more kids kind of taking over. I see more people younger or employee-owned businesses where, all right, you can kind of see that it's going to continue on. The tradition is going to continue on, but we got to be in somebody else's shoes to.
But as we know, the welding as a skill is not going away.
Never.
That's not going.
No, never, never. That's never going to go away. The American Welding Society, of course, says that by 2030 there's going to be 500 million welders needed in the industry.
I would believe that.
So, what do you think all those welders are going to be needing from distributors, from anything and everything that we move, sell, or push? Right. So it's never going to go away, and we know that. And I think it's going to get social media. It's playing a little bit of a better part on promoting the industry, especially for the women part that you've mentioned before.
Right.
I think you can see trickles. It's trickling more, here and there. You see pockets where, like, more younger generation women, females.
I agree that social media is really very helpful for us in this industry.
Yeah.
There are so many more welding schools popping up all over the country.
Schools are bringing the programs back.
They are, and they're stunned that there are more women that are signing up now to go to welding school.
That is true.
Because of the opportunities. It's great pay. It's wonderful as an artist or as a chef if that's what you want to go. There's so many different things that you can do with that degree. But a woman obviously has a naturalness about her working with welding torches and that sort of thing. There's just something about.
Yeah, it's the intricate work, it's the artistic side of women that it's very. I've seen it for a fact where there's things that we guys can do because we're just so Fred Flintstone kind of thing, right?
That's right.
And you guys come in and just look.
Yeah.
We're just dummies, we're.
What I can say is what everybody else can say about what I would like to see this industry go in the future. Doesn't everybody want more things produced right here in our country that we don't have to worry about importing it? That is what I'm finding from most people is where can I buy locally? And we have some products that some people that will only buy American.
Correct.
But unfortunately, we're not there yet.
Yeah, it's a globalized world, and even when you are buying something that's American, there's a small component that is coming from overseas. And we're not there yet, but I think we can do better on the way to support local, support your state, support the country as a whole. So I definitely agree with that. And to wrap things up, now the next show is in Atlantic City, and the whole family is going to be there supporting right?
Yeah.
Without saying too much, what's one of the best shows you've ever done in these 10 years that you go, wow, that was just unbelievable, everything went perfect, and I would love to do this here again just because how perfect it was?
Well, I think probably the smoothest show had to be the one in San Diego that we just had.
Really?
As far as the way that everything operated,
flowed,
it was just fluid. It was as slick as it could be.
Nice.
Okay. So I love the operations of that show.
Okay. But location?
The location,
I think I hope I'm right on what I'm thinking, but go ahead.
I don't know. Frank is just good.
It has nothing to do with just a personal connection with a place. I want to
say the most amazing place that I think we've ever been, though, is the Broadmoor, Colorado Springs.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because we talk about this all the time. Like it's hard to go anywhere else after that.
We feel like it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure. And
I know.
I try to remember to tell everyone we're going to keep trying to keep that level up here. But after you go to a place like that, it's hard. And we found out that we were told that we were the very first.
Even though we're winding down, your mic.
This is my button. Okay.
Yeah, you can just.
I believe that we were the very first industry event that went back to work after COVID.
Yes.
And we are very proud, actually, to be the ones that sort of kick-started everybody back into action. And to have it there. And to have it at the Broadmoor. They even said that we were the first convention group that they had there since people started kind of opening up a little bit, and they treated us like royalty.
I can vouch for that. I saw the whole thing, yes.
Yeah.
I'll give you this. It was almost. It was almost annoying in a perfect way. And what I mean by this is I would leave the room and within 3-4 hours I would come back and the room would be redone. You know, there's many places it's the next day or even 2 days. And I'm like, geez, where are you guys? Under the bed? Like, I mean, how fast are you guys?
Really
it was
slick.
Neat, fixed again. I'm like, I can get used to this.
The service was
was phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. But it was also, Frank, I remember everybody coming up to the registration desk, a lot of you guys wearing masks as you walked up to the desk. And then we're sitting there with no masks. They said, do we not have to wear this? And we said, whoop, and off it went. Everyone
it was like a college graduation. Yeah.
It was like the hats going up. Really, we don't have to do that? No, not here. And the weather was perfect. Remember, the weather was like a spring day.
It was beautiful.
On
it was
the first one, and we had snow, we had snowstorm, we had spring weather, we had every kind of weather, and it was just a magical.
It was. I'm grateful that I was part of that.
Everyone wants to go back, and we do an east-west-east like most everybody else does, and we also try to throw in a centralized location to kind of break it up. But it is on our to-do list. We're going to. Now,
is South Florida ever in the radar again? You know, because I mean, it was supposed to happen there, and I was
in 2020.
I was so excited. I mean, I had so many things planned, but I'm like,
Actually, yes, same location, same hotel.
Okay.
We are currently talking to them about the 26th convention. As we speak.
Nice.
Which would be in the Miami area. So I don't want to say
correct.
Yet.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah,
it just makes me happy that I don't have to take a plane.
Location.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, Diane, thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do for the industry, for the buying group, for us. You make it easier for us. The venues are always amazing, and I think everyone can say the same thing. And on top of that, thank you for always being so nice. I think definitely that personal touch that you add and the way that you carry yourself where, hey, I'm one of you guys and I'm here to help. It comes across, at least I can only speak on my behalf.
Thanks.
And it always has, along with the tribe that you have behind.
That's a good one.
The tribe that you have behind you, every one of your kids, they know either you train them well or they just picked it up on their own, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think a lot of us have to say thank you to you guys. So, and then lastly, thank you for saying yes to this crazy idea and sitting here with me in this beautiful location. Even though it's been a little humid, I mean, we've been sweating.
I know.
And I'm like, I'm the one that's going to be drenched and,
I know. I mean, how horrible for us to be in Hawaii having this conversation.
It sucks. You guys have no idea. It's hard work. It's hard work. But thank you, love. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We love the Uniwell team, and you're very much a part of our lives and our friends. I mean, how many people can you get into a Volkswagen with 10 or 12 people headed 2 blocks to a restaurant?
People are getting out of the trunk, I got pictures and videos of that whole thing. I mean, like the whole. It was awesome.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
We go back a long way, but I'm honored to be your friend and your colleague.
Thank you.
And thank you for honoring me with this opportunity to tell people how great he is. Okay?
Yeah. There's $100 coming.
And Jamie and Ray, everybody, love you guys.
There's $100 coming her way later. Well, guys, thank you very much. Like I say again, like I've always said, I hope you guys enjoy the show. Like the content, like the guests. We're just trying to shine a light on the welding industry, because the welding industry is just that highway with many different exits. So you don't have to be a welder to be in the welding industry. I hope you guys keep supporting the whole channel, and if you guys don't, just tell somebody else. All right? Thank you, guys. Aloha.